almost Heaven Swing. Cool. Heaven Swing right here. Right with the Philippi Bridge in the background and the Tigrant River.
You may not want to stand there.
Hey.
See why? Well, hello everybody. Philippi, West Virginia, and the old double-barreled covered bridge is directly in front of you. Now, we have a very interesting story to tell you guys today. We drove all the way up here for this and a few other stories, as a matter of fact, a few other ones as well too. But anyway, the one that I wanted to tell you right now has to do with the bridge, the spot, the town, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Philippi, the town, woke before dawn on June 3rd in 1861 to the first organized land battle of the Civil War. At dawn, Union soldiers stormed into town, catching the Confederate troops still asleep. Panic set in. Southern boys fled half-dressed, scrambling across the hills, while newspapers back north joked that it looked more like a foot race than a battle. Union units moved in the rain before daylight and struck from more than one direction. Confederate troops under Colonel George A. Porterfield were mostly raw recruits, short on equipment, and when the firing started, they fell back across these streets toward Beverly. This is a rare double-barrel, two-lane covered bridge built in 1852 and still carrying traffic today, as you can see. It was completed in 1852 at a cost of just over $12,000. The double-barreled 286-foot-long truss spans the Tigert Valley River. It's the oldest and longest, if I could speak, covered bridge in West Virginia, and the only covered bridge on a U.S. numbered highway. During the fighting on June 3rd in 1861, Colonel Ebenezer Dumont's Federal column crossed this bridge to enter Philippi under covering artillery fire. Union forces held the span and even used it as a barracks because it had a roof on it. Accounts also note the crossing was used by both sides that morning. Before that morning, James Edward Hanger had grown up at Mount Hope near Churchville, Virginia. He was the son of William Arthur Hanger and Eliza Hogshead Hanger. He entered Washington College in 1859 to study engineering, but he left school to join the Churchville Cavalry under Captain Franklin Sterrett, following his brothers and cousins already in the company. After traveling with a Confederate ambulance crew, he arrived on June 2nd in 1861, bunking with other untrained, poorly equipped recruits in a nearby stable. At first light, he heard gunfire, ran to mount up, and a 6-pound solid shot ricocheted into the stable and smashed his left leg just below the knee. An amazing sight, amazing history here, and just such a beautiful old bridge. And from down here you can see the original parts versus the new parts. See the center, how the old stone on that end, solid stone, on that end's the old stone, that one there, and this one here are concrete. The bridge burned and it's been flooded several times, but it's, like I said, it's been rebuilt, and they reinforced it there and there to hold up modern day vehicles, modern traffic. But we've got several more stops to hit. The site of the first land battle of the Civil War. Gives me cold chills. I don't know about y'all, but it does me. It gives me chills just thinking about that stuff.
I wonder how they decide who's in charge. Do they like have duck fights?
No, the one with a degree. It's the one with the college degrees out front.
Remember them geese that we used to, when we used to go take the boat out, and there was that one duck that hung around with them?
Yeah, he thought he was a goose.
Yeah, that was
What
weird.
was it, Lenny?
Larry.
Larry.
I named him Larry.
Did you notice the piers?
Confederate regiment flag captured at the Battle of Philippi, June 3rd, 1861. Original flag is at Battle Abbey in Richmond, Virginia. Ooh, train's coming.
They're green.
Like the geese don't even notice.
Yeah.
They're like, what is?
A little boat.
Kind of scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like straight
Floating.
down,
Floating in the air.
Ooh.
Look at the old timbers, how big those are. Parts of the original bridge. I read a thing said that the only metal in it was the bolts that they used. The rest of it is all wood, or was. The big brackets they used to hold it together. Look at the size of that. Bolts on that hold the boards together. Beautiful. You can see the old bridge. You can actually see it. Built right into the new one. That is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful place. Look at this, guys. Well, I can now say that I've been across the Philippi Bridge, the site of the very first battle of the Civil War. First land battle, I should say, of the Civil War. That is amazing. And legend, according to legend, you know, legend, Abraham Lincoln stood on this and had a secret meeting with Jefferson Davis on this very bridge. Of course, there's no proof of such a thing, but if you're going to do something like that, there wouldn't be any proof anyway, right? It would be, you know, that's the whole point of clandestine secret meetings, right? They're secret. That's kind of the point.
It's a scary drop off. It is far.
Beautiful. And you can see the old bridge underneath there, all the old wood. Double barrel covered bridge, guys. That is cool. And there's the museum where the mummies are. It's right at the end of the bridge. Come across the bridge, turn into their parking lot. Can't miss it. That's where the mummies are. There's mummies in there. Yes, from Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Two of the residents, they had no intention of becoming mummies, I'm sure, but nonetheless, they're still in that building mummified. Now this right here is the Philippi courthouse. Is that not beautiful? I don't even know what that stone is, but it is gorgeous. It looks like copper or something like that. Beautiful. Old tower up top, spires. I love it. Gorgeous. But what we're after is right here. This marker right here ties to the history of this street and a single name. James Edward Hanger's operation here is remembered as the first recorded amputation of the war.
So this is right across the street where Leo just was, at the beautiful Gothic courthouse with the really pretty sky.
It is.
It says, on this site in a Methodist church used as a temporary hospital on June 3rd, 1861, J.E. Hanger of Mount Hope, Virginia, underwent a leg amputation by Dr. James Robinson of the 16th Ohio Volunteers. This was the first amputation of the Civil War. Mr. Hanger was taken from here to the home of William McClaskey, which we're going to visit, then to the home of Thomas Kite, which we're not going to visit because that's in Beverly, which is a little too far. We don't have enough hours in the day. And exchanged about 3 months later. He invented an artificial limb and organized, wait a minute. He went, okay, they're missing something here, okay. What I do know is that he was a prisoner of war and he was exchanged.
Right.
And sent back home, but it's worded weird. So he was exchanged and sent back home from the war after he healed. He invented an artificial limb and organized a company which became one of the largest manufacturers of artificial limbs in the world, J.E. Hanger Incorporated, which we'll get to that later. This marker was placed in 1961 by J.E. Hanger Incorporated.
Really? J.E. the company? Wow, they actually put that there.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Look at those stained glass windows. Wouldn't you like to get inside? So this is what I'm going to tell you graphically what they actually did to his leg here real quick. Keep in mind, they were caught off guard. They fled across the bridge and in different areas, and he happened to get a ricochet bullet in his leg. He's only 18, and next thing you know, he's being carried over here with a busted leg. So what they did was they removed the leg about 7 inches below the hip, making James Edward Hanger one of the earliest recorded amputations, like we've said. Churches and public buildings became instant hospitals after battles, and that one just here, that was everywhere the Civil War touched. Benches moved aside, tables improvised, neighbors bringing water and linens, and surgeons working as fast as they could. Most Civil War surgeries used anesthesia if they had it. From here, James Edward Hanger was moved to the first home of William McClaskey, then the home of Thomas Hite, like the sign says. He remained under care for weeks and was sent to Camp Chase in Ohio as a prisoner of war. In August 1861, he was exchanged and returned to his family in Virginia. And our next step will actually be the home of William McClaskey.
Wow.
Where we will tell you what happened next.
Souvenir. Just one. Now that we've covered that, we may as well take a little look around, huh? Since we came all this way and we are here. That is beautiful. War Memorial right in front of the courthouse. Y'all know how we are about veterans. I always check those out whenever I see one. Pay your respects, you know. But just look at that. My God, that is gorgeous. There's a sign up there, a historical marker. We'll go check that out. Look at that. clock is dedicated to the citizens of Barber County. Dedicated to the county commissioner. I'm gonna go up to the end and check out this sign here. Let's look at that. And you just got to kind of imagine this thing, you know, back in the day, back in its heyday, without all this other stuff, without all the concrete, without the asphalt, without 99% of these buildings. Of course, there were probably some older ones here at the time, but Philippi, originally called Anglin's Ford, I remember reading that, for William Anglin, but later named Booth's Ferry for Daniel Booth. Nearby in 1780, Richard Cottrell and Charity Tabbitt settled. Philippi was named for Judge Philip Pendleton Barber. I'm guessing Barber County was probably got that, that's where they got that name too. But man, this town is just really, really pretty, isn't it? It is just really pretty here. Nice little town. Ooh, hand-dipped ice cream. We may have to run over there. It's kind of hot. We're gonna check out some of this architecture real quick on the way back. Look at those doors. You know that old saying, guys, they don't make them like they used to. They really don't, do they? They really don't make them like they used to. Look at the stones there, the keystone. Look at that. Just that keystone is massive. And that's the smallest one there. Really pretty.
So obviously since 1860s, town has changed a little bit, and William McClaskey's home was somewhere over here. One of these buildings here, but I don't know which one. But it's right next to what is now the courthouse. Now, it was after James got his leg amputated that we had brought here to recover. I'm sure it was a lot more quiet then, and a lot more easy to heal rather than now. I would even think it might be this building here that has like looks like old American flags sort of hanging out of it, but who knows. William McClaskey was a prominent town figure. He served as Barber County Sheriff in the 1850s, and his house became one of the many recovery stops that stitched the town into the story of June 1861. Let's go over here in the shade. James Edward got returned from his stay at prison, so as you can see, his stint in Civil War really went well. He went to prison, he got his leg amputated, but it didn't turn out bad. At least not for the future generations. When he was sent home, he didn't quit. Back home, he shut himself away upstairs and engineered a jointed leg, barrel stays, improvised hinges combined with determination and stubborn will and a unique understanding of what was needed to make it work. He then spent a lifetime outfitting others with prosthetic limbs through the J.E. Hanger Company, setting a patient-first standard that still bears his name to this day. From a shattered leg in a church at Philippi to modern prosthetics, that's the line that runs through these streets. James Edward Hanger died in Washington, D.C. in June 1919. He's buried at the Glenwood Cemetery. Today, that legacy, his company, is a billion-dollar enterprise. Hanger was valued at about $1.2 $1.25 billion when it went private in 2022 in revenue, with clinics now caring for around 1 million patients a year. One ricochet in a stable, one young engineer, and millions of lives touched. It just goes to show how something awful can sometimes have a purpose bigger than you can see at the time. And I want to add that this is the end of September and it's 83 degrees out. Come on, fall. Thank you guys, and we appreciate you supporting us. And if you can, join our Facebook page, Hillbilly Files Legends and Locations, so that you can get updated pictures and stuff that's happening and just get to know us a little bit more personal. And we will see you next time on Hillbilly Files.